All right, I think the Heisman table has been set. We got coaching shakeups in the Pac-12, and Ollie Gordon powers the Pokes past OU in the last version of Bedlam. That and everything else I am buying and selling from Week 10 in college football right after the stinger. It's Felix Sharp at Sharp Review on Twitter for CampusToCanton.com. If you like this video, and I think you should, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you are tuning in for the first time and you don't understand what it is that we're doing at CampusToCanton.com, in short, we're playing fantasy football with your favorite college players, and CampusToCanton.com is the place to go if you want to get in and play for yourself. From rankings to updated depth charts for offense and defense for 133 FBS teams. And my personal favorite is the athleticism comparison tool, where you can compare some of your favorite college football players and see where they rank athletically to players around the country, past and present. Buying and selling from Week 10 in college football, I'll tell you this. I think that the Heisman Trophy table is there with the seats already set and the name tags there. I think you're going to see Michael Penix Jr. there, you're going to see Carson Beck there, and you're going to see Marvin Harrison Jr. there in New York, especially with the case of Marvin Harrison Jr. That offense hasn't really been good, and he's been the key to a lot of their victories, including, last week against Penn State. He was the entire offense. And then with Michael Penix Jr., he's been firing all year. But, the play, the broken play where he rolls to his left and makes the throw to the tight end over the defenders in the back of the end zone yesterday, I mean, that's just a Heisman moment among seasons where he's had several Heisman moments. And Carson Beck has been leading Georgia on this different style of Georgia offense all season. He's going to be there for Georgia in New York at the end of the year, at least in my opinion, especially since they're going to go undefeated. They're going to be playing in the SEC championship game. And even if they lose the SEC championship game, I think that there's still a chance that they're there in the playoffs. So I see Carson Beck, who's having an excellent season. By the way, at one time in the offseason, Carson Beck was like plus 10,000 for the Heisman Trophy, and Brock Vandagriff was like plus 4,000. You're not serious people, whoever set those odds. Carson Beck has been the backup since his freshman year. You watch that freshman spring game. He's the first quarterback on the field after Stetson Bennett. So Carson Beck having an excellent season. Take a look at my rankings at CampusToCanton.com where I have him and where I've had him the entire season. I'm buying that it might be Caleb Williams' last game in college football. Of course, we saw the emotional outburst after the game talking to his mom. Man, it looked like it was a pivotal moment for Caleb Williams. Of course, we'll find out later this season, but what are they playing for now? To play in some sort of New Year's Six bowl game? I don't think that Caleb Williams is necessarily going to stick around for that, and that could be why he was so emotional at the end of that game. Speaking of which, I'm selling anyone who is criticizing Caleb Williams for that emotional outburst following the game. If you're criticizing him, you're corny. Quite frankly, you're corny. It takes hard work. It takes dedication. It takes focus. It takes preparation to get to that point. And I believe that Caleb Williams, coming into this season, he saw himself being a national championship and bringing USC back to its, former glory under Pete Carroll. I think that he believed that. And so realizing that he's not going to get there, that's probably that failure is what led to his emotion in the mix of, hey, this is my last season, maybe my last game in college football. You're corny if you are making fun of him. I'm buying Drew Aller. He is looking what we thought he should look like. 25 for 34, 240 yards, 4 TDs against Maryland. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a Drew Aller video, another Drew Aller video, I should say. The first one did very well. We're going to do a mock draft for Campus to Canton leagues here soon. Drew Aller is still firmly in the first round conversation for me. I want to see him improvise more. I want to see him get, a very good transfer wide receiver. He is what I thought he was since he was coming in as a freshman. I'm buying Texas running back Jonathan Brooks as a day 3 NFL draft pick. Now, he continues to be the focal point of that Texas offense, of course, getting his chance after Bijan Robinson and Roshan Johnson left for the NFL. With Quint Ewers out, they've had to focus on, especially at times with Malik Murphy struggling, they've had to have a more conservative game plan, and he's still been able to churn out yards. I don't know that he necessarily has any particular elite trait, kind of a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of lateral wiggle. He's just well-rounded. I think he has good vision to follow blocking and set up blocking. But he's played himself into the day 3 conversation. And in this draft where, the running back class isn't outstanding, now Travion Henderson has had 2 back-to-back outstanding games, day 3 draft pick might be the first running back taken. Braylon Allen, Jonathan Brooks, Travion Henderson, all right there to be RB1 in this class. The RB1 in college football overall might be Ollie Gordon, who continues to power that Pokes offense there. Just think about it. They lost Spencer Sanders. Spencer Sanders, who's sitting on the bench over at Ole Miss, he didn't come back there to Oklahoma State. And the last couple of weeks, they're running through him, and Mike Gundy was on his ass in the offseason, and he is performing, of course, getting the victory against Oklahoma in what might be the last version of Bedlam that we see. Ollie Gordon, one of the best running backs in the country, a taller runner who can handle the volume. There we go. We've seen a lot of players make a jump this season. He's right up there at the top as someone who, he didn't come out of nowhere because we definitely knew who Ollie Gordon was. But the performances that he's been putting on the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's hard to say that he's not the best running back in the country. He's playing like the best running back in the country. You compare him to like somebody like Nick Singleton at Penn State, who we have high expectations for, but he can't seem to get off the schneid. So Ollie Gordon is playing like the best running back in the country. As a matter of fact, let me know in the comments. It seems like the running back position is down right now in college football. So who do you have as being the best running back in the country right now? Speaking of Ole Miss, I'm buying Jackson Dart. I'm buying Jackson Dart, 24 for 33, 2 touchdowns against a tough Texas A&M defense. I actually sat Quinshon Judkins in this game because I thought that there would just be tough sledding for them offensively. He has 3 touchdowns in the game. He has, but Jackson Dart has just under 2,500 yards on the season, 16 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. Again, coming into the offseason, they bring in Walker Howard from LSU. They bring in Spencer Sanders. We thought that job was going to be taken, but Jackson Dart has stayed there, and he's performed. He's had his best season since, transferring from USC, since that freshman year at USC. Now, I haven't watched the tape to see if he's making, NFL plays or how highly we should be valuing him, where I should change him in my rankings. I need to do that, but from a box score perspective, he's playing extremely, extremely well. I need to take a closer look at him. I don't need to take a closer look at who I'm buying, and I'm buying Jonathan Smith and quarterback Aiden Childs' development. I just love what they've done with Aiden Childs, just bringing him in on a few snaps here, a few snaps there. It's not like Aiden Childs is getting mop-up duty. He's playing high-leverage snaps coming in for DJ Uiagalelei, and they're just bringing him in like really, really slowly. You look at his snaps per game, 8, then 34, 5, 4, 4, 8, and 9. And again, these aren't all snaps at the end of the game. He's getting meaningful snaps. They clearly see him as the future. Look at his stats on the season. Now, of course, this doesn't, it's a small sample size, but that's what you're going to get for a true freshman who backed up Malachi Nelson at Los Alamitos before he transferred and, got his chance to shoot up the recruiting rankings. On the season, 18 for 25, 229 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions. He also has 12 carries for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't know if DJU has additional eligibility left. You can let me know that in the comments too. But I love the way that they are getting his feet wet. Like, this is how you're supposed to develop a quarterback and build their confidence. I love what they're doing at Oregon State with Aiden Childs. By the way, we interviewed Aiden Childs, last March, somewhere in the spring, so you can find that if you want to. I don't know how to link it here. Sorry. I'm buying that Alabama can still win the national championship. Look, here we are again with Alabama. Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Milroe absolutely go off. You look at Alabama's schedule, they should win the rest of their 3 remaining games. They're going to be in the SEC championship game. They can get to the Final Four, if they beat Georgia. Alabama, Georgia still there at the top. That's going to be just a great game. When I think of the SEC, I'm going back to that 2011 Alabama and LSU game, that really tight defensive game, 6-9, I think was the final score. That's not going to be the SEC and the SEC championship game this year. We saw Alabama and LSU put up lots of points. It's going to be the same way when Georgia and Alabama play. I would guess the over-under in that game is going to be what? 59.5? Something like that in the national championship game. Carson Beck, Jalen Milroe doing it on the – both of those guys, Jaden Daniels and Jalen Milroe yesterday doing it on the ground. But Alabama can beat you in a number of ways offensively. Isaiah Bond is a speed threat. Jermaine Burton is a veteran. He's also a speed threat. Amari Nyblack is coming along. Jace McClellan is doing his thing, and so is Roydale Williams. But it's really – Jalen Milroe is learning how to win with his style. Some games he's going to throw the ball a lot, or like yesterday, he's going to run for over 200 yards at the quarterback position, playing really, really well. I'm buying Alex Grinch having been fired. We expected that to come along here for a while. He's done. I don't really even know what else to say about that. We expected that to happen. It did. Let's move on now. Here are my sells for Week 10. I am selling Sean Lewis being demoted. Of course, we saw that game yesterday. Shedeur Sanders the offense has their worst performance that they've had on the season. There is some semblance of dysfunction there in Boulder, Colorado. Let's see if Coach Prime can get it corrected. But you look at their remaining schedule. Is this team going to make a bowl game? Are they going to make a bowl game? That's going to be tough. If you had that 4.5 under ticket that you could have got earlier in the season, it was even 6.5 at one point. If that's 6.5, you feel great about that. Even 4.5, you might be able to cash on Colorado. By the way, speaking of Colorado, I don't know what they were doing with their timeouts at the end of the game. Can somebody explain to me what it is that they were doing? I don't really understand what they were doing. I'm selling Malik Murphy being able to get his confidence back and the momentum back this season at Texas. Now, when I think of Malik Murphy and the position that he's in right now, he's just an extremely talented player. You see that on the vertical shots, and I did a video on Malik Murphy and Quinn Ewers, and I said that Malik Murphy would be better vertically than Quinn Ewers is at. Quinn Ewers likes kind of like the comebacks and out routes outside of the numbers. Malik Murphy, a much more a vertical passer. Adonijah Mitchell has been excellent with Malik Murphy at the helm. He's had flashes, of course, the first two drives against Kansas State yesterday. But after that, he struggles with fundamentals. And then the crowd gets on him. And then every single throw, it's super, super tense because when he throws an incompletion or he has somebody open and he throws it into the ground, you get the rain of boos and you get the rain of boos. And so what it reminds me of is that 2001 season with Spencer Rattler. And the crowd really started to get on him with Caleb Williams behind him. And I think it's just hard to get your momentum back when every single throw you've got your home crowd getting on you and getting on you. So, we'll see if as a matter of fact, it might be better off if Malik Murphy is playing on the road because he doesn't have to deal with the same, mental issues of the crowd. So I still like Malik Murphy as a player. I think he's going to enter the transfer portal after this season, and I think that there are going to be a lot of programs that are going to be out there vying for his services to come to their programs. There's a lot of programs that need a quarterback. Yeah, there was something else I wanted to say about Malik Murphy. I can't remember what it is, but whatever. All right, let me know your thoughts on Week 10 here in college football. Alex Grinch is out. Sean Lewis demoted. Colorado's kind of imploding. Ollie Gordon, best running back in the country? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments, and remember to like the video. All right, y'all. Peace.